Well, over the years of doing YouTube, there's been many videos you didn't see. If you have me on social media as a friend or somebody who just was like, "Hey, let's go friend Hallermouse," or we'll follow him or have him follow me or something. There's been many pictures, many posts where I've had people right beside me, mainly my wife, going, "Are you sure you're going to post that?" Sometimes you just need a little help to get a little perspective of things you should not be posting. We've all been there. I've uploaded videos where I've overshared. I've uploaded videos that were dull and boring. I've uploaded videos where I immediately went back and watched them and went, "Oh, wow, that's not what I meant." So I pulled them, so we've all been there. We've all made mistakes. So today at approximately 4:36 p.m., my wife got a hold of me over the phone and was like, "Hey, are you getting ready to leave work? We can have dinner." So I was like, "Cool, man. Well, yeah, we can have dinner." So I said, "I'll call you back in a minute." And what I did is I got on Google and I looked up the restaurant and I was going to look up the menu for where we were going to go eat. She's going to place the order. I was going to drive. It's going to take me 25 minutes to get there. And slow and behold, in my Google feed, the news, this article came up. So it is now 6:45. I saw this article for half a heartbeat at 4:37. And I've only read 2 or 3 of them. And I'm like, man, so far he's already got it wrong. Hey, what's up, Movie World Comics? So you'll see in the title of this, "Help Me Help Them." Okay. Help me help CBR with this article, because I'm shooting up to the hip. I watched Suicide Squad 2 on Thursday night with the family. We watched it again. I can't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday. It's a spectacular movie. So there are spoilers. And I'm going to assume that a lot of you have now during the live stream, and in the future, if you're watching this, I'm going to assume you've watched Suicide Squad, because when I answer these, I've only looked at 2 or 3 of them, the first 2 or 3 that are in the article, and I was already shaking my head. I don't know if this guy needed somebody to rein him in. I don't know if this guy was going for the Suicide Squad 2 clicks because the movie just came up for the article. I don't know. I don't want to be derogatory, but I'm really sitting here reading this like, has the man ever or person ever watched the movie? So it's not so much that I'm wanting to roast this guy. It's more about, we're going to look at the work in the list of the biggest plot holes supposedly in James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie. I've watched it twice, like I said. And I don't think this guy, the gist of what I've got is I don't think this person understood that the Suicide Squad aren't heroes. They're the villains. We had one person proclaim they were a superhero, and they were immediately killed before they even finished the sentence proclaiming they were a hero. Hey, what's up, guys? So right off the bat, we have Movie World Comics. What's up, brother? And the great and the ripped and the fantastic Dr. Silver Age, man. So great to see you there. So let's have a little fun. Again, I'm assuming you've watched the movie. Okay. Fantastic movie. Okay. So right off the bat here, as you can see, they have a lot of advertisements on this. So we'll be clicking off of those. Suicide Squad's biggest plot holes. Despite James Gunn, the Suicide Squad, being a simple smash and grab job, there are complications which create some plot holes. No, there wasn't. I thought I saw a plot hole. Okay, the following has spoilers, of course. So we come on down here. Number 1, Waller's placement of Rick Flag and Harley Quinn. Now, let me just read what they have here. Waller's first team that breaches the shore consists of Rick Flag, Harley Quinn, and expendable soldiers like Savant, Javelin, and Weasel. The reason why this team's so weak is that she secretly wanted them to be a distraction fodder for the army. This allows Bloodsport's stronger squad to crawl up on the other side of the island and detective. And he is saying that if Waller wanted them as sacrificial lambs, it makes no sense to use 2 aces in Rick and Harley. She risked their lives, makes things complex, as Bloodsport's crew now has to rescue them. It's to force drama, tension, and action in the film, prolonging the crew remaining on the island. Waller keeping the secret also endangers Bloodsport's team as they engage in the firefight that blew the cover. Okay, let's go on back here. Now, this is a borderline movie trope in spy films. Let me come back to you guys, right? So basically, what it is that number one, it's a movie. There's a movie trope. I want to say Spies Like Us, and there's probably some other comedy spy movies out there. But what you do is you had the inept team go on to make some noise and to kind of leak out that they're going to be there a little bit. And they're just a decoy while another team comes in behind and does the real work. Okay. So, first of all, they weren't cannon fodder per se. Number two, yeah, Rick Flag is a team member, but it adds authenticity to the decoy team. You follow me? Like, oh, the leader is there, right? The Suicide Squad is secret, covert, but as we saw when they were gathering the team, that all the villains knew what the Task Force X was. They knew the Suicide Squad. It's a horrible secret, apparently. That's part of the gag. So they weren't cannon fodder because they did not know they were going to be ambushed. They did not know that Blackguard had gotten a hold of the army and told them. Now, that's pretty simple. I can go on and on, right? It's a movie trope. I don't know if the author of this article has he ever watched any other kind of movies, right? I don't know. But the second thing is that Harley Quinn as an ace in the hole. Number one, Harley Quinn in that world is just another villain. Okay. These people are all expendable. That's why it's a Suicide Squad, even though they don't like the name of that team. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Right. So Harley has already escaped from them, and that's going to play again in a minute. So having Harley Quinn, she is not like in that world, she is just another villain. Okay, another prisoner, another expendable, another person who's making a deal to get out of jail early. Bella Reeve. Bella Reeve in the comic books is a special prison for people with powers and super dangerous and the super villain type and all that stuff, right? And there's also a cameo of the Calendar Man that I loved in there, yelling at them as they were leaving, because they were idiots for doing it in his eyes, I guess. So that's what was so funny about it. So Harley Quinn is not some big ace in the hole. She is not some favorite of theirs. Okay. She just knows the game. That's why she goes out, does stupid stuff. She gets thrown in jail. She knows she's got a chance to go do something crazy to get out of there and have a little adventure. So number one, Rick Flag makes the decoy team look authentic. All right. Number two, Harley is just another villain. Okay. All right. So number one plot hole debunked. Okay. They did not know that there was going to be an army waiting for them at the beach. Let's move on to the second one here. Blackguards betraying the Rick Flag team. Now, everybody that watches this, let me come back to you. Number one, this whole Blackguard character ran all over me. If you have watched this channel for years and heard me talk, if you go back to like something like 2014, the one video that I really made that was demanded of me for over a year was why I hate Booster Gold. Blackguard is a character he's a Booster Gold villain. He is the villain on Booster Gold #1. Okay, on the cover of Booster Gold #1 that Booster Gold is fighting. Okay, he's part of some conspiracy group called the Thousand. They try to come off a little Illuminati, I guess. You don't know who the Thousand are and all this stuff, right? You know what I mean? He's a lame villain. He was cannon fodder. But what is also funny here is that not only, do you throw in a little black gold, Booster Gold tie there that just runs all over me, but you have him played by Pete Davidson. Can't stand this guy. I really, really can't. I've seen him on Saturday Night Live, just like everybody else. He's popped up on like little interviews and stuff. And he thinks it's funny that he makes these mistakes, anybody that knows him, and he's done stuff that I just didn't agree with, but he really gets on my nerves. When his face was blown off, I really got a kick out of how the guy that shoots off his mouth and says stupid stuff literally had his face shot off. Okay. I mean, I don't wish the guy any ill will or anything like that, but I'm not a fan. So to have a guy that I can't stand playing a villain of a hero I can't stand, if you will, Blackguard from Booster Gold, I was just like, oh, why does this keep happening? It's so funny. I mean, I get a kick out of it. It's hilarious, right? So what's the plot hole that they're saying here? Blackguards betraying Rick Flag's team. When Rick's team arrives, Blackguard steps out, breaks ranks on the shore, telling the military he's the one who called them. It confirms that he sold them out and is trying to broker a deal, but there's no way he could have called the Cordo Maltese. Waller would have tracked the calls from jail, especially to an international enemy, and also she never give him tech or alone time to try to make such a move. In addition, it's a dumb decision because Waller would blow his head off at any time. Thus, Blackguard was destined to die way before the military turned on him. All right. Lots to unpack there, right? Lots to unpack there, right? So, number one, he obviously did not see the first movie. Harley and the Joker beat the system, right? Number one, right? I think that's why, and this is what I'm saying. Help me, help them if I'm remembering wrong. I've read this article at 436. I think this may be as far as I got. So I may be misremembering, but when they put the bombs in their heads, in the back of their skulls to blow them up, Rick Flag, I think, had the power to do it with the team. Harley gets away. The Joker comes in. They beat the system. And I think that's why Amanda Waller now has the power. I guess they're using satellite cameras or something, right? To flip that box open, have one of her cronies unlock it first so she doesn't have all the power. And she gets to blow them up instead of Rick, right? You know, because Rick can't see everything that's going on and everything. Too many eyes on people, right? But number one, even though Amanda Waller thinks she's God, she is not God. Okay. I think the author has forgotten that these are super villains. And not only they're super villains, but Blackguard, if they're going by the comic, was part of a big organization, a secret organization and stuff, right? We don't even know who the members are of the 1,000, right? There's many, many ways that Blackguard could have gotten a hold of them. These are super villains, not heroes, not normal criminals, not people that think like normal people who work 9 to 5 or whatever and stuff like that. This is what they do for a living. This is what they're always manipulating and you know, being manipulative and always scheming and stuff. And this is what they do. It's second nature to them because they're villains. That's what this author doesn't seem to get. Villains find a way. Okay, so if he's being very serious in this article, he totally missed the point. Of course, the scum of the earth is going to turn on the team, double cross people. Now, as far as having the bomb in his neck because he's afraid of Waller getting him stuff, Harley survived in the first movie, so there's no doubt in my mind that when these people made the deal with Blackguard, they told him some BS saying, oh, we got you. We have scientists. Oh, boy, do we have scientists. They have the thinker, for goodness sakes. You know what I mean? There's no telling what they told Blackguard. The guy who shoots his mouth off had his mouth and whole face shot off. So there's no telling the deals that they made. These are villains. These are not very good people. There is no honor among thieves. There's no telling what they did. You follow me? So no, that's not a plot hole. It just wasn't spoon fed. Okay. In an explanation, you kind of sort of supposed to have gotten the gist. You know what I mean? You know, just from watching movies. Okay. Now we're going into new territory. All right. These are going to be off the cuff, right? Trusting Harley Quinn. I think I've touched on this a minute ago about Harley. Harley ends up being taken as a prisoner of war with President Silvio, deciding that he wants to make her his bride. However, he makes a speech about how Project Starfish will make Corto Maltese a world power, willing to kill women and children who get in their way. Harley shoots him, which leaves us wondering why would he trust someone who invaded the island? Oh my gosh. Okay, now this one. Here we go. Just to be fair, he studied her, so he knows she's on a heroic path and wouldn't endorse terrorism. After Silvio's death, his war general takes over, but another plot hole arises when the troops raid to find Harley hovering over Silvio's body. She assumes that they wouldn't shoot her dead on the spot, and they don't, which is insane, and she's just murdered because she's just murdered their leader. Look at this word here, insane, okay? This is why I'm wondering if this guy's just trolling with this article. He even used the word insane. Now, what they're talking about is that this dude, if you see what he did, he thought he was going to get Harley in there. And, you know, he's a big militant guy, high ranking, new leader of the country or whatever. And he feels the people feel that he needs a bride. So he wants Harley, right? Again, these are not good guys, okay? The guy trusting Harley is because he's a narcissistic psychopath all on his own, which is why he has no problem experimenting on his own people, on letting Starro, you know, do the Starro project, Project Starfish, whatever, experiment on women and children and stuff, man. It's there's been comments made over the years that I've heard since the 80s that a lot of politicians and CEOs and people in power may be psychopaths, sociopaths and all this stuff, right? I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I don't care. I don't care to delve into that more about all those things that are said. But if you watch the movie, the man had structured a whole afternoon or whatever it is, thinking that he was going to make Harley fall in love with him when really it was just seduction, and it worked, right? But the thing about it is that the man is a sociopath slash psychopath. He thinks he's the smartest man in the room. He thinks he can manipulate her. There's no way that a woman, especially a woman, is going to outwit and outplay him and be a danger because they're fragile little creatures and she's going to love me. And when, I mean, the first thing that happens when she sees him, I think he was getting out of the tub, right? So he seduces Harley, and then he's a bad guy in monologues. This is one of the things I loved about this. He monologued, right? So as he monologues, he said what he said, and then all of a sudden we get Harley shooting him, and we see how insane Harley is. The guy used the word insane, and he forgets that, you know, Harley is a product of the Joker. Okay, you know what I mean? The Joker broke down his psychiatrist and built her back up into this insane creature. What I love that James Gunn did with Harley in the Suicide Squad 2 movie is that he took her back to her Paul Dini, Bruce Timm, Batman the animated show Roots. That's what was so cool. We got our old Harley back, and she's insane. We had a big monologue in her just to hear how insane she was and how damaged she is by the Joker. All because that she said that she seems to attract very bad people, and she looks for red flags. And she promised herself if she ever saw any red flags in a future boyfriend, she would just go ahead and murder him because it's better that way. Kill the baggage and all that stuff, right? So Harley was insane. And the guy trusting Harley, it wasn't a matter of trust. It was a matter of ego and narcissism, thinking he had her. Of course, she's going to fall in love with her. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he's totally read this whole scene wrong. You know what I mean? These are not good people. This movie does not have good people in it. That's what's so funny. The magic of Suicide Squad 2, if you will, is that you have a bunch of villains who have been sent on a good guy mission, and they're a fish out of water. These guys are on the other side of the story for a change, which is where all the comedy comes from. That's why they're a fish out of water. They are king shark on land. Okay, you know what I mean? Every one of them. That's why this bizarre and crazy stuff happens, because these guys are all the criminals and sociopaths and stuff, right? You know what I mean? And now they're trying, and this is how they think the good guys do it, you know, even though they know they're not good guys. So it was fantastic. Oh man, people are popping in here. Cool. Okay, so let's see what the next one is. So yeah, trusting Harley Quinn was because the guy was narcissistic. It wasn't a matter of trust. He just thought he was smarter than her. The general's ignorance. Okay, shooting from the hip here. Help me, help them if I miss something. Okay. The general then insists that Harley be kept alive as he wants to interrogate and find out if she came with anyone. The problem is there's literally a beach filled with dead bodies of his own men as well as Rick's soldiers. The proof is right there, so he should know. Harley has been sent to bring something down, whether it be the regime or Project Starfish. Either the general has a poor memory, his troops forget to relay what happened during the invasion, or he doesn't read the case files, seeing as he's the only one directly dealing with soldiers. It's hard to believe he thinks Harley's alone. The war general keeping her alive is merely done to reunite her with her teammates. No. Oh my gosh. This is unreal. Oh my God. Okay. It says right here, he wants to know if anyone else came with her. The general, I don't even see how this guy considered this a plot hole. This general, I just said at the beginning of this that the decoy team is a borderline movie trope. Okay, you know what I mean? there's a decoy team. That means there's another team. These guys are making us look over here so we don't see what's going on over there. This general is smart enough to know that there is more going on. It's his job. He's old. He's experienced. This isn't his first go around. Of course, he's going to torture and interrogate Harley to find out if anything else is going on and who's behind it. So he knows his enemy and he can start playing that war game chess. Who's his enemy, know his enemy, know how many pieces are on the board and stuff like that. He was right. Okay. Yes, there's bodies out there on the shore. They knew people were coming because Blackguard called them. And this author of this article is trying to act like this guy's an idiot for thinking that nobody else may have come, even though he's asking Harley. Is that how I read that? So, yeah. Oh, I love this. I felt like I was watching Jabberjaw when I saw King Shark. I love Jabberjaw. Jabberjaw was a great cartoon, but I heard Rocky come out of King Shark's voice. I did not hear Curly Howard, of the Three Stooges. So this is not a plot hole. This is a guy who's actually competent enough to do his job. You follow me? And as you saw, they were using a cattle prod on him. Okay. What they saw was a woman. Okay. They apparently did not know Harley's reputation. So, of course, they just hung her by her feet, had one guy in there torturing her and stuff and trying to break her down to where she faked passing out. So all of a sudden, the general realizes it's time to up the game. When she passes up, we're going to the next level. This guy, this general, was to me fully competent with what he was doing and what was going on. So, yeah, not a plot hole. Not a plot hole. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I'm sure there's not that many more. Rescuing Rick from the Resistance. Okay, I love this scene. I loved this scene. This scene was fantastic. These two trying to one up each other. The heart of the movie, the emotional anchor for the movie was with Ratcatcher 2 and Polka Dot Man. This guy could have been iconic. When Harley's taken by the government, Rick's taken by the resistance. Even the viewers did not know that when Rick was taken from the beach. That's how he survived. Led by Alice Braga's soul, this leads an action comedy scene where Bloodsport and Peacemaker slaughter a few soldiers, thinking they're the enemy. The thing is, there's a lot of screaming, bodies falling, explosions, and noise in general, all in one location, yet no one hears what's going on. Everyone gets snuck up on, but the camera angle shows that it's one straight path. At some point, someone, even the gunman in the tree, should have heard or seen the commotion. It's a ridiculous plot hole, but it allows gory scenes, fatalities that occur against apparently deaf and blind opponents. It's also odd that Task Force X just trusts these rebels who could have been lying to get intel from them. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, I was about to be real forgiving on this one. Okay, so I'm going to go back and I am ex-military, right? Pretty basic stuff, right? But what I have done is bivouac, 2-week summer camps in the woods. When I was about 23, 22, I added up all the time that I was in the woods camping on my own, all the time I was hiking, all the time that I spent in the woods with the military, being a combat engineer and all that stuff. And it came to something like 5 months solid, right? Weird things happen in the woods and they're in the jungle, right? I've also been in 1996. I spent 3 weeks out in the desert, 5 days out in the desert. Okay. 5 of those 3 weeks and stuff. Right. And it's very strange how the trees work. All right. There's some things I don't have explanation for. Right. But I slept on top of my 5-ton truck on the tarp in the middle of the desert, nothing around me, watching the sunset, had earphones on a Walkman, listening to My Wave by Soundgarden, and watching the sunset out in the desert. And when I took them off and went to sleep, man, I woke up and there was tons of people who had gotten on top of the tarp with me. And there's people all around doing things all night. And I never heard them. Okay. You follow me? I had been out in the woods where the only thing you could hear were bugs, right? I heard mosquitoes so loud, it sounded like a chainsaw running, flying around in the sky at night and stuff, right? I have not heard things that happen in the foxhole 10 feet from me, right? I had a foxhole about 18 inches from me, and then the next guy was like about 10, 15 feet. You don't hear things. I don't know if it's the trees buffering the sound. I don't know if it's part of nature. I don't know if it's just enough to where as you move around, it is totally possible to make a lot of noise and not hear it. Yet, a high pitched noise will travel. You follow what I'm saying? So, what I'm saying is that this plot hole could be 50-50, honestly, just from my experience. 6-7 years of doing that stuff, right? And there's people may have had different experiences, right? Now, here's what's wild. I'm going to give you a little life experience here about being out in the woods, right? Predators make no sound, okay? But tiny animals make the most noise. Because if you are walking through the woods and hiking, you want to make a lot of noise, and that makes bears and stuff run off because they hear you coming, and predators and stuff, right? Not 2 months ago, I was hiking in outside of Fayetteville, West Virginia, I think, with my wife and my stepson, and we heard this big rustle, and I swear it sounded like a moose was coming through the woods, right? So I tracked down what it is. It wasn't hard, and I went back there, and it turns out to be a little bird for whatever reason, in the leaves, acting like it was a bird bath, and you would have thought it was a moose coming through, right? Loud noises scare off predators and stuff, right? So yeah, noises can travel. It's just odd, the bigger the animal, the more silent it can be sometimes if it's a predator. Smaller the animal, you'd be amazed how much noise they can make. So being in the woods and stuff, it's really odd. I totally get why some people get like a mystical feeling with nature. I love this channel. Thanks. See Woodward, what's up? Okay, what's up? Oh man. All right. Good to see you, man. All right, let's move on here. Right. I don't know. There couldn't be that much more, right? So Bloodsport's missing Milton on the mission. Okay, this was a funny scene, right? There was a driver that got called in to help them out, right? A guy named Milton. And the guy was so quiet and in the background, even I missed him in the scene until he got shot and died or whatever, right? So I have been in these situations where some people have creeped up on a crowd of people, be it we're at the skating rink, at a concert, at a mall or something over the years. I've had the people creep up and just kind of join our crowd, and we all have no idea how long that person's been there. So as the squad try to blow up the Planet Starfish base, the resistance driver Milton is with them planting bombs. However, when Milton gets shot to death, Bloodsport only then realizes that he was with them all along. It makes for a humorous exchange with Harley, but it's nonsensical as Bloodsport's a meticulous, observant person who prides himself on his vigilance. Oh my God. Here we go. Had Milton been with more emotional Rick, he would have been, we could have understood. But the fact that Milton is right there next to Bloodsport makes this plot point way too silly, especially as he's next to everyone who seemed to accept that the driver became a soldier and liability on the job. Oh my God. Okay. Apparently this man, let me get that off here. Okay. So what they're saying is that due to Bloodsport and all of them being like highly efficient people who can read a room and have hawk eyes and all this stuff, and they know everything that's going on and everything like that, they should have known Milton was there. No. Adrenaline actually can do the opposite. Okay. You can get tunnel vision, right? And again, these are super villains. Okay. They are out for themselves. They are very selfish people. They are not the people that look around for little innocents and civilians and stuff to protect. Okay. This is not their job. They don't train themselves to do this. Right. Yeah. And Milton, it was a funny exchange with Harley sitting there going, Milton, oh, that Milton. Oh, and all that stuff. Right. I was right there with them. The bickering that they were having, I've had in real life with things like that, not with the dead body laying there, but yeah, we've been there. Oh man. So yeah, so this is not a plot hole. To me, this is like one of those things that if you really think back and you've had that guy creep up with a group of you guys or somewhere and you turn around and you're like, how long have you been sitting there? How long have you been there? Well, you've been talking shit about him. So yeah, Okay, here we go. No fail safes were made for Starro. Oh my gosh. One would think with the thinker working on Starro and its mind control spores for 30 years, the government would have at least had helmets or special masks made for protection. They know the minion latch onto people's faces and the minions latch onto people's faces, creating a hive mind. They know it takes over people. What happens? That's what happens in the finale. Yet the army pulls up with their faces exposed despite knowing Starro's power. Sure, the general's team only took over control, but it's hard to see. Oh, God, I'm not going to read the rest of this. So what they're saying is that I can answer this one real easy. There's a line where the thinker looks at people and says, I've worked with this creature for over 30 years. I'm the one that can control him. This is a villain again. Villains think they are the smartest people in the room because they are narcissistic sociopaths. The greatest villains in the world think they're the good guys. They think they're the smartest people in the room. Number two, it was a secret project. The thinker was all about himself, thinking he was in control. There was no need for fail safes because the thinker will always be in control. Plus, it gave him leverage. Now, this is where I want to stretch out a little bit with my idea of the storytelling, right? But one of the best things you can do with your job, and especially it looks like with a government job, you know what I mean, is that you have to make yourself indispensable. All right. If you come up with ways to control Starro where you're not needed and you're in a secret, covert organization working for the government secretly who has a task force X that they will never, they go Mission Impossible. We will deny you, if you're caught and stuff like that. Of course he'd be took out. He's the thinker. He thought 5 moves ahead saying, I have to be indispensable. I got to make people think, or he really did think that he has total control over Starro. So of course he's not going to make fail safes. He's got to make himself indispensable so they don't freaking execute his ass. Okay. I mean, it's pretty simple. Yeah, you're seeing it. Yeah, you're seeing it, right? That's why I decided to do this. All right. Oh, this is hilarious. All right, let's get through that. I don't think there couldn't be much more, man. I mean, I don't know. Oh God, oh God. Okay, this is interesting. Let's get rid of some of these ads here, man. They're killing me. Probably gonna get demonetized because of all these ads. Bloodsport not taking the javelin. Oh man, there's no. Okay, I don't even know if I have to read this one. Okay, but I'm going to. A lot of the film plays on the rivalry between Bloodsport and Peacemaker being able to turn anything into a weapon. Thus, rather than use Harley to penetrate Starro's eye with the javelin, Bloodsport could have taken it. He has the skills to launch the spear from anywhere as he's a sharpshooter akin to Deadshot. It'd be faster, more efficient, and wouldn't need Harley to get close. Oh my God. If that had happened, the rats that Ratcatcher summons could easily have then moved in to devour the alien from the inside. It's like having Hawkeye, but using Star-Lord to snipe someone out, all done so Harley could have a moment of glory. This is just Harley hate. This is just Harley hate altogether. All right. So they're saying this guy's saying that Bloodsport should have got the javelin, right? Number one, what happened is that Harley was running around the beach, dodging bullets and all this stuff, and she finds a dying javelin. And this is humorous, right? So the javelin, talking in his German voice, because Harley told him, all American women love accents because they ain't got none. He's sitting there and it's like this funny, farcical. I mean, this guy just has no sense of humor that wrote this article. And all of a sudden, Harley feels like there's a destiny here to a destiny or a quest to fulfill now for this dying man just because she loved his accent. And he doesn't finish his sentence. We get a death rattle before he finishes his sentence, and he hands her the javelin. And she thinks, like, for whom? She starts smacking him around after he's died, like, finish your sentence. So now Harley is carrying around the javelin, convinced there's like this destiny or this quest that she's got to fulfill. It's funny. It's her storyline. Okay. Here it is. Here's why it's not a plot hole. Bloodsport was on the other side of the island. He didn't even realize that the javelin that Harley Quinn had picked up as she was escaping, from escaping from the guy that wanted to be her husband. He had no idea why she was even carrying around the javelin. Little else did he even realize Milton was with him. Little else would he even double. Everybody had weapons. Why didn't he just take the peacemaker's weapons? What you're saying? The dude had body armor that turned into weapons. In the comic book, he would point his finger, have people kind of laugh at him, and then materialize a gun that was transported to him, right? The dude did not need the javelin because he did not know about it. I mean, he never met the javelin in the movie. He didn't. This is nonsense. This is Hardly hate because they made a storyline where Harley got to penetrate the eye with the javelin. It was fantastic. I don't see that's not a plot hole. That's storytelling. And the blood sport, or none of the characters are, omniscient. They don't know what was going on. Yeah. So there could not be more. This is really, these are getting worse as they go along. I was going to be, if you watch the beginning of this video, I was like, let's just have some fun with it. Oh my God. Uploading the drive for blackmail. I want you to look at this. What have I said through this whole thing, right? Uploading the drive for blackmail. This is not a plot. I want to go ahead and call this one and before reading it. But these are bad guys, okay? This is not Watchmen where Rorschach is like, where he's not Rorschach, who will, right is right and right is wrong. It's all black and white. You know what I mean? Now, oh my gosh. Anyway, these are villains. Of course, he's going to use the drive that exposed Project Starfish experiment in a third world country with a American scientist, and all, of course, agents, U.S. agent. I'm sorry, man. This one is just blowing my mind that he even thinks this is a plot hole. These are bad guys, right? Of course, he's going to use it to his advantage. And of course, America is going to want to hide that they're doing things in a third world country they shouldn't do. All right. Okay, after the Suicide Squad slays Starro, Bloodsport lets Waller know that when he comes back, he has the drive to expose how America commissioned Project Starfish, right? He uploaded the contents to a secure location. The problem is that he doesn't have this. He doesn't have the tech to do this. Oh my God. The supervillains are resourceful. People are always wondering how they do this stuff because they're supervillains. They have ways of doing things. Is it up here? Yeah. Let me take a break right there, right? Let me come back to you. This right here is an unfinished miniseries by Kurt Busiek in the 90s where he took, I guess it was Shadowhawk villains, and each one got an issue so that you could see how villains do things, how manipulative they are, how they live without having a job, how they live within the criminal underworld and stuff, right? How resourceful they are. And it's sad that they never finished it because Kurt Busiek was showing you how these criminals do things. So yes, he would have had the tech or knows somebody that did it. He knows people. He was raised as a mercenary since the day he was born. Oh my God. His suit and weaponry would have been sanctioned by Waller's team, and there's no infrastructure or time where he can sneak off to do this. He just wouldn't have internet privileges or hacking capability built in as it could make him rogue and throw the mission off course. Oh my God. This is a Hail Mary play to have Waller submitting to his blackmail to keep the squad safe. Oh my gosh. All right. Thank goodness that's the last one. Okay. Let me stop sharing this, man. Oh my gosh, this is unreal. I've read too much. I read too much at once. I got a little emotional here. Okay. But oh my God, he's a super villain. This is what they do, right? They escape the fight another way. They're slippery. That's how they get away from superheroes and stuff, right? Yes, he could have done it. Yes, he knows people. They're resourceful. We don't know everything that they do because they are secret underworld. And as a mercenary that was raised by his father from the day he was born, he knows people, I'm sure. And again, Waller Amanda Waller, who thinks she's God, is not God. You know, okay, she's not infallible. If you read the Suicide Squad comics, Batman was getting in and out of Bella Reeve and messing with her and stuff, right? So yeah, this lines all up. So no, I don't feel like any of those plot holes stand. And like I said, I started out doing this just for fun, but I'm sitting here like those got pretty stupid. All right, guys. So thanks for hanging in there. I hope you enjoyed the movie. Thanks for everybody that popped in here and had a little fun with me. And yeah, watch Suicide Squad 2. It's fun. It's fantastic. I may make number 3 this weekend. All right. Everybody be excellent to each other.